Okay, guys. So let's get started without any further ado. I guess the others will join slowly. But before we do so, a quick formal introduction on mine. My name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'm going to be a cybersecurity trainer for the rest of the duration of the course. And again, I've had an experience of teaching students since the last 4 to 5 years in cybersecurity domain itself. I train students on certified ethical hacking, and my specialization is web application penetration testing. Okay, so that's also another course that I train students on. Okay, I've taught at least more than 800 plus students at least until now from various organizations. One is DURGASOFT, and I teach for a couple other institutes in Bangalore as well. And yeah, I also work as a security analyst right now in a company called Symbiosis Technologies here in Visakhapatnam. So I belong from Visakhapatnam, basically. And yeah, that's an introduction of mine, guys. And I'm so sorry, I'm a bit of again not in the best condition today. I have a bit of a sore throat and I have a bit of a cold, so I'll talk a bit slowly. But I hope you can still hear me. No, I hope my voice is clear and audible, and you can make out what I'm saying. Any issues with the audio or the video, guys? Oh, hi. Oh, Muktesh from Srikakulam. Okay, close by. Sorry, apologies for those. Excuse me. But I hope I'm audible, guys, before we get started with the session. One last time confirming. I hope the audio is fine and you can hear me properly. Although I'm going to speak a bit low at certain points, but if you need to, if you want me to repeat something, please do let me know. Okay. So let's get started without any further ado. Again, course is called Certified Ethical Hacking version 12. Every year the version gets updated, guys. This is the latest version running. And new concepts, new technologies are added in the course, older ones are adapted. Okay. Now, before we get into the practical part, let's talk about a few theoretical definitions. Okay. What is hacking and what is ethical hacking? Because a lot of students have a misconception that they are one and the same. They are the same, and that's why people have a very bad image of cybersecurity because people assume it's all about performing something illegal. But let's clarify that. When you talk about hacking, firstly, this is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. What I mean by that phrase, gaining access to information systems, is if I were a hacker and if I hacked your phone, it basically means I've got complete remote connection of your phone. So remotely from my device here, I can control the data on your phone. Controlling in the sense I can download it remotely to my system, I can delete it from your system, or I can sell it to other people without your knowledge. So this is done definitely without permission or the knowledge of the organization or the person owning those systems. And these systems could be anything. They could be as small as a mobile phone to as big as a web application server or a database. Okay. And hackers most of the times do this for their own benefit. Okay. Sometimes hackers are so mischievous they can even do it just for fun. So the main objective of hacking, as mentioned, is to get remote connections to devices without the permission and the knowledge of the people owning those devices. And once you've gotten access to those, what you do with the data is your choice. Okay, again, what the hacker does is, again, it's his choice, basically. Okay. So if hacking is such a malicious task, why do we have a course called ethical hacking? And how is this getting ethical in the first place? So to define ethical hacking, guys, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. This term called vulnerability is something that will keep coming across multiple times in the upcoming days. To define it, it's a loophole, it's a flaw or a weakness in the security of the information system. And your job as an ethical hacker is to find these loopholes, find these vulnerabilities in the information systems. And once you find them, you report it back to the company for whom you're finding it. So you do this with the permission and with the consent of the organization. You find the vulnerabilities and report it back. Why do you report it back? So that the company can apply the necessary security updates or patches. And once the patches are applied, that vulnerability doesn't exist anymore, and your systems are completely secure. So thereby, you've prevented hackers from hacking the system or performing any further harmful actions. So as an ethical hacker, you prevent cyber threat attacks on organizations or personal devices by finding the loopholes which these attackers use, okay, to attack on the systems. Okay, so you find those loopholes, you report it back, and you see to it that they are remediated or patched up. And with that, you're securing the organization or the infrastructure from any further cyber threat. Okay, is that clear? Any questions, any doubts up to this point?
Hmm, hmm.
Excuse me. Uh, Amit, Muktesh, Ahmed, Navyashi. Any questions or doubts?
Yes, sir, correct, sir.
Okay, moving forward. So let's talk about the different categories of hackers. So from these two definitions, we can categorize hackers in three parts. There's someone known as a white hat hacker, there's someone known as a gray hat hacker, and there's someone known as a black hat hacker. Firstly, your black hat hackers are cyber criminals who perform hacking for their own benefit or just for fun. And they do this without asking for consent. Okay, so remotely attacking your devices, stealing information from your devices is what black hat hackers do. And they're also commonly known as cyber criminals. On the other end of the spectrum, we have someone called a white hat hacker. These are people who abide by the laws and policies of the organization, and they work for securing the organization's devices or infrastructure. Okay, so they take permission and find the loopholes in the system, and they remediate or repair those loopholes so that no other hacker, black hat hacker, or cyber criminal can take advantage of it. So these people are also commonly known as ethical hackers or cyber security professionals. And in between, there's a third mysterious category called a grey hat hacker. Now, these people don't ask for permission first, but once they do find a vulnerability, they report it back to the company. But there is a minor catch. When they find a vulnerability and report it, they won't do it for free, obviously. They do it in return for a financial reward, which is also commonly known as a bounty. Okay. So thereby, grey hat hackers are people who work both offensively and defensively at various stages to find loopholes and report it back to the organization for a small price in return, for a small reward in return. Okay. And hence they can also be commonly known as freelance hackers or bug bounty hunters, hunting bugs, okay, in return for a bounty. Now, no matter what category of a hacker you take, whether you take the black hat hacker, gray hat hacker, or white hat hacker, they perform hacking or ethical hacking in a certain procedure called the cyber Killchain. Oh, voice is not audible. Guys, can you hear me? Am I audible? Amit, Muktesh, Ahmed,
Yes, you are
Navish.
Yes,
audible, sir.
sir, audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please rejoin this session. Hmm. Excuse me. Okay. So we'll just wait for one more minute, guys, for the others to join. They have had some audio issue apparent. Oh, definitely, Muktesh. I can go a bit slower. Apologies if it was too fast.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. No problem. Okay, guys. So let's continue without any further ado. The others will join accordingly. So, as mentioned, no matter what category of a hacker you take, whether it be white hat hackers or black hat hackers or gray hat hackers, they perform hacking or ethical hacking in a certain procedure. And that procedure is called as cyber kill chain. Some companies also refer to it as hacking cycle. Okay, so the procedure, to define it, the procedure that hackers follow in order to perform a successful cyber attack, and the same knowledge of this procedure which allows cyber security professionals as well to understand what these attacks are, to detect these attacks at an early stage, and to prevent these attacks as well is called as cyber kill chain. So again, An important point to note here is the procedure to attack or the procedure to defend the systems is pretty similar. Minor changes here and there, but the first few steps are pretty similar. Okay, so in the whole entire duration of this course, the objective is going to be how to learn, how to perform this cyber kill chain. So we'll be learning how do hackers perform the cyber kill chain to attack systems, or how do ethical hackers perform cyber kill chain to prevent these attacks as well. Okay, so this procedure consists of 5 important steps. So there's something called as information gathering first, then there is scanning, then there is gaining access, then there's maintaining access, and finally we have reporting or clearing traces. Now, if you carefully observe, only in the last phase we have two different terminologies, reporting or clearing traces. Okay. What I mean to indicate by this is no matter what category of a hacker you are, whether you be a white hat hacker, a gray hat hacker, or a black hat hacker, first 4 steps are exactly similar. There is no change in the procedure in the first 4 steps. All the hackers will definitely follow first 4 steps. What varies or what changes from hacker to hacker is the end result. If you are a white hat hacker or a gray hat hacker, you report the vulnerabilities back to the organization. So you elaborate what loopholes exist in the system and you report those loopholes to the organization so that they can apply the necessary patches. Excuse me. Or on the other hand, if you're not an ethical hacker, let's say you're a cyber security professional. On the other hand, sorry, my bad, guys. I'm so sorry. My mind's not working properly from the cold and all. So on the other hand, if you're a black hat hacker, a cyber criminal, okay, the cyber criminal is not gonna report anything. He won't let the company know what the loopholes are. He'll take advantage of the loopholes. He'll attack the system, and then he'll remove the evidence. So that removing evidence is also commonly known as clearing traces. Okay, so he deletes all the log files. He removes his footprints. Okay, and sees to it that no one ever catches him. So he goes completely anonymous over the internet after performing the action. So that is commonly known as clearing traces. So again, as you can notice, the entire course of ours in the upcoming days will be focusing on these 5 steps itself. As an ethical hacker, how do you perform these first 4 steps and report the vulnerabilities in the end? Or as a non-ethical hacker, how do you perform the same 4 steps and remove the evidences as well? So we'll be learning both the attacks and the method to prevent these attacks in real time on every single device. Okay. Any questions, any doubts up to this point? Akash, Amit, Muktesh, Ahmed.
No, sir.
Right.
No, sir.
Apologies, guys. Terrible day for me. Yeah. Let's talk about each of these steps one by one now, understanding what each of these phases is and what we'll be covering in the upcoming sessions. Okay. So the first phase is called as information gathering. Some companies also refer to it as reconnaissance or footprinting. So it's one and the same thing, guys. Different companies call it different names. Okay. But the main objective of this procedure is to gather as much data or information as possible about the target organization. And an important point to note here is all of this information is obtained passively. What I mean by passively is you do not contact the organization in any way. You don't let the organization know that you're getting information about them. You get it from third party sources. But the main question that arises here is what information are you looking for? And this information is as follows. Okay. So as a hacker or an ethical hacker, to perform, again, getting access of the devices, you first need these pieces of information. What are the IP addresses of the organization's websites? Okay, what are the network blocks used for their servers? What are the who's records? Who's hosting the website for them? What are their DNS server records? What are the domains and subdomains the company might own? What OS are they running? Are they running their servers on Windows operating systems or Linux operating systems? What are the employee details, contact numbers of the employees, email addresses of the employees, and usernames and passwords? Okay. So believe it or not, all of this data is readily available on the internet. All you have to do is know what those websites are, where you can get that information from. What does DNS mean? So yeah, one of the students has asked a question, what does DNS mean? Okay, so basically DNS, every organization has a DNS server, guys. In that DNS server, if I show you this practically, I can go to my browser here, search for a website called DNS Dumpster. This shows the DNS records. So every organization basically has multiple domains and subdomains. So if I search for an example like wipro.com, let's say, okay, when I click on search, these are the DNS records. So they have something called DNS servers, which again basically link a domain name to its exact IP address and vice versa. So when you enter www.google.com, this website is stored somewhere on an IP, on a server with a certain public IP. Okay. So when you hit enter here, it is accessing Google server on the public IP of Google. Okay. If you want to figure out what the public IP is, you can run a command ping www.google.com. Okay, so you can see I get an IP here 142.250.77.164. Okay, so this is the actual public IP of the server of Google. So when I hit this IP, so when I copy paste the IP in the browser and when I hit enter, you can see I still access google.com. So that linking between the public IP of a website and the domain name is done by a DNS server. So a DNS server is used to resolve a domain name to its exact IP address and vice versa. Okay, so DNS dumpster is a website which gives you those DNS records. So what are the domains belonging to the organization and what are their exact IP addresses? Because on these IPs only you perform the attacks. Okay, so Wipro is using outlook.com for their mail, and this is the exact IP of the server for the mail server. These are the main domains of Wipro and the subdomains of Wipro and their exact IP addresses. So a DNS server contains these records telling what the websites of that organization are and what are the IP addresses of those websites where the web server is being hosted from. Okay, so this website is being hosted on a server with this public IP. This website is hosted on a server with this public IP. So a DNS record links domain names and IP addresses. Okay, whose record basically means who's hosting the website for them. So we have websites like GoDaddy, BigRock, Hostinger. These people host websites for you. So whose record tells you who's the authority hosting your website for you. Okay. So that's what DNS servers and whose records are. Okay. Is that clear? Any questions, any doubts up to this point?
No, sir.
So as mentioned, guys, basically from this information gathering phase, we use certain websites, and from those websites, we can get all these pieces of information. In the upcoming sessions, we'll practically learn how that is opting. But I've shown you a simple demo here. So there's a website called DNS Dumpster, which is capable of giving you the DNS records for any company on the entire web. So if I search for an Indian company like Wipro.com, or if I go for an international company like Tesla.com, for every organization, the DNS records are available here. Okay. Now, how is this website getting that? How do they, again, is this good or bad? And again, is this legal or not? We'll cover all that in the course in the upcoming days. But for now, this is one good resource, okay, to get these pieces of information. Okay. So yeah, Muktesh, hackers will access the data in the same exact way. Okay. Moving forward. So once information gathering is done, then you perform something called scanning next. Scanning is a phase which is also commonly known as enumeration. And here, in this phase also, we try to get some extra information. But an important difference to note here is we get the information actively. What I mean by actively here is you get the information by making direct contact with the servers. In the earlier phase, we got the information passively. Okay, that's an important point. In information gathering, we get the data from other third-party websites. But in scanning, we contact the exact servers of the organization. And from those servers, we get the data. Okay. And to understand what data we get, we can divide scanning in three parts. There's something called network scanning, port scanning, and vulnerability scanning. In network scanning, you try to figure out in the organization how many active devices are there. So basically understanding what servers do they have, FTP servers, DNS servers, DHCP servers, mail servers, or what firewalls they're using, what routers they're using, what switches they're using, what IDS IP systems are they using, intrusion detection systems or intrusion prevention systems. So getting a local network topology of their internal infrastructure is called as network scanning. Once you know what devices exist on their in their organization, on those devices you perform port scanning, trying to figure out what ports are open and what services or applications are they running on those ports. And once you know what ports are open and what services are running, finally you perform vulnerability scanning to figure out on those services is there a loophole to attack on, okay, and get remote connections. So it's a step-by-step procedure, getting the list of devices in their organization first. On those devices, what ports are open and what services are running. And on those services, is there a loophole to attack on? Okay. And during this phase, we'll be using two very important tools, guys. One is called Nmap, which is a network and a port scanner, a very popular tool which is used in real time in a lot of organizations. And we work with another tool called Tenable Nessus. Tenable Nessus. Okay. This is a vulnerability scanner, quite an expensive tool as well. So if you check the pricing, so if you scroll down, if you click on buy, you can see it's around $7,000 for 1 year subscription. But luckily, there's a trial version as well. So from the trial version, you can use the same exact tool for a limited amount of time and learn how to utilize this tool. So these tools are asked for in a lot of job descriptions. Okay. So we'll be practically working on these same tools itself for you to understand what happens in an organization and how do you utilize these tools efficiently to perform penetration testing or scanning. Okay. So all I'm trying to show over here is we'll be working on the same exact tools used in real time, guys. So you'll be getting exposure on the actual real-time examples or hands-on tools that are used in organizations. Okay. Any questions, any doubts up to this point?
No, sir.
So, okay. Akash, Muktesh, Ahmed, Sanjeev.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt, sir.
No doubt, sir.
There's one question here. I actually, I have done the BSc. Can we go for this course?
Definitely, Sanjeev. Again, as mentioned, I was going to mention that in the upcoming few minutes. You can come from
Okay.
any domain practically. So I've had people coming from marine engineering. I've had people coming from electronics background. I've had people coming from mechanical background, and also students coming from their 10th standard as well to learn this course. This course covers everything from scratch, from the very basics. Okay. So we'll learn what networking is. We'll learn what Linux commands are. I'll show you how to have a practical lab, and after that, we dive into the advanced concepts, okay, which will also be covered from the very basics, okay. So you have nothing to worry about no matter what domain you belong to. Cybersecurity is a field which is open to all, and it has less coding as well. You don't need that coding language or knowledge. If you have, it's good enough. If not, also, it's not a problem at all because in the cybersecurity, you utilize these tools. So there's a lot of tools for performing various operations. So if you know how to utilize them, how to use them efficiently, that's more than sufficient. Okay. So it doesn't matter what background you come from. This is a course which is suitable for all age categories and all technical or non-technical categories. Okay. Is that clear?
Okay. Yeah,
I
sure.
think you have
Thank you.
joined the demo a bit late, Sanjeev, but
Yeah,
no worries.
sorry for that. Yeah,
No
right.
problem. No problem. That's completely okay. But just
Mhm.
all I wanted to say was this demo will be uploaded on YouTube from the official channel of DurgaSoft. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you have missed out anything, you can access the recording shortly on YouTube, the DurgaSoft channel. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I actually, yes. I attended other session as well from DurgaSoft. Yes,
Okay.
I know all the process. Yeah,
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah. I'm talking about the fees structure.
Um, we'll come to that, Sandeep. We'll come to
Okay,
that in a
okay,
minute.
okay, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, Muktesh. Good to know. No problem, Muktesh. This is again, if you belong from a technical background, much more better. Okay, but as mentioned, even if you don't belong from a technical background as well, we'll go from the very basics itself. You will understand all the concepts easily. Okay. Others, any other questions before we progress further? Again, guys, if I've not mentioned it already, for people who've just joined, I'm a bit sick today, so I'm speaking a bit low. I have a sore throat and terrible cold. So if you won't hear me properly, do let me know. I'll repeat the sentences. Okay. So I'm intentionally speaking a bit low today due to the pain in my throat. Okay. So yeah, let's progress further. So after all this is done, after scanning is done, guys, we move on to the next phase, which is basically called as gain access, the phase where the real hacking occurs. So once you've gotten all the information required from the information gathering phase or the scanning phase, next thing is nothing but attacking the systems itself. Okay. So in the gaining access phase, we try to get access to the system or the application or the entire network of the organization. Okay. And this is one of the most important modules in the course, guys, which covers a vast variety of topics. Okay, so these are some of the most important topics we'll be covering. There's a lot more, I could not include them in the presentation, but this is an overview of the most important ones. Okay. So the main objective in this module is we try to learn how to get access to every single endpoint. Okay. Firstly, we talk about system hacking. So no matter what operating system you might have, Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11, does not matter. We will learn how to crack the password of any Windows OS. Okay. And if you're unable to crack it, how do you bypass it? Bypassing in the sense without even knowing what the password is, how do you still get access to the internal data? So this is helpful for you in learning, again, in getting back your data if you yourself are logged out of your system. So if a hacker performs a ransomware attack and locks you out of your own device, how do you get back access into your system, and how do you try to take it back before it's too late? Okay, so that's what we learn in system hacking. Then we talk about malwares, which stands for malicious softwares. There's practically tons and tons of malwares, guys. Viruses, worms, trojans, spyware, rootkit, whatnot. We'll practically learn how to create these malwares, how to defend our system from these malwares, and how to detect them if they are installed secretly without our knowledge. Okay. Then there's a bonus concept called malwares advanced. Please note, this is only a bonus concept, not included in the curriculum, or I won't be teaching it. This involves, again, I'll be sharing resources where if you have no knowledge on Python, how do you learn Python and how do you write your own malwares? Okay. So that's a separate bonus advanced course I'll be providing as a resource. Okay. Then there's network penetration testing. This we'll be practically learning in our upcoming sessions. How do you perform local network attacks, sniffing attack, man-in-the-middle attack, denial of service attack, hacking Wi-Fi routers? So through these attacks, hackers can capture your data, they can steal your credentials, they can shut down remote servers by again sending huge amounts of traffic, or they can crack the Wi-Fi router passwords as well. So we'll practically learn each of these attacks one by one that occur in a local network. Then we have social engineering, where we learn how do hackers create fake websites? How do they generate an exact replica of your banking web page or your employee login web page or any social media web page? Okay, and how do they get again your credentials? How do they try to trick you into giving out your credentials? So these are called as phishing attacks. We'll practically learn how these attacks are performed, and also how do you defend yourself from these attacks? How do you distinguish between a genuine page and a fake page? What do you have to look out for? Okay, to prevent these attacks. Then comes hacking web servers or web applications. So every organization has a web server on which you have websites or web applications hosted. So we learn all the attacks on the backend and some on the front end as well. So to list out a few attacks, we have SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, file upload vulnerability, etc., etc. Now, some of these terms might seem gibberish to you. You might not understand them, but these attacks allow hackers to get remote connections to servers, break into databases, and get access as admin, or again log in as other users with their cookies, or upload malicious files to servers and crash the servers as well. Okay. If I have to show you an example for this, let's say we talk about SQL injection. So what happens in SQL injection is attackers can upload malicious SQL queries and log in as admin without knowing the password or username. Okay. If I show you an example for this, I can go to my browser. I can just search for some random login pages. Okay. And so I've got some login pages over here, if you notice. Okay. I can open up any random login page from here. If the page is vulnerable, this is what's going to happen on it. So just searching for some login random pages here, guys. There's an admin page here, single quote or 1 = 1 hash. This is an SQL query, a malicious query, which sometimes allows you to get access to admin accounts. Okay. If the page is vulnerable, you get the account. If it's not, again, the page is secure. That's the main objective. Okay, so I didn't get it in that page. I can search for some other pages. Login.asp, maybe. HTTP. Just searching for login pages again. Nothing more. Or I can still try for PHP itself. Just searching for random login pages, guys. It's not work. Says admin login, single quote or 1 = 1 hash. Copy, paste, login. Oh, you can notice over here in this page, apparently, I've got login access here. So I didn't know the username or the password for the admin. Just some random page again. And you can see what we have got admin access here. Apparently, I've got some login page here. Okay, don't know what this page is, but again, I have some other pages I found the other day as well. I think this is one of them. So this belongs to an organization called CCP India, apparently. If I copy paste that in another tab, this is Central Council of Paramedicals in India. Again, a genuine page, which is HTTPS. Okay. And there's a login page here, as you can see. And if I enter my malicious query, Control C, Control V. If I click on submit, you can see it says welcome to admin panel. So I don't know the credentials for admin, guys. Yet with that malicious query, I've got admin access here. I can upload my data, I can clear the data, I can view others' data, etc. etc. Okay. I would not recommend you performing this on your systems, guys, because again, there's a certain procedures to follow before you perform this testing. Okay. But yeah, this basically is an example of SQL injection, injecting malicious SQL queries and getting admin access to others' accounts. Okay. Cross-site scripting is where we can inject malicious JavaScript data. Okay, so pages should not accept JavaScript data, but as attackers, if you're able to inject JavaScript, you can get access to the entire server or the login pages of other users on that server. That's what happens with XSS. Okay. Broken authentication is where we can use cookies of other users and log in into their accounts. Okay. File upload vulnerability is where you can upload malicious PHP files and shut down the server or get the complete remote access to the server also. Okay, so all these attacks allow you to inject malicious data to the servers and get remote connections or crash the servers. So we'll practically learn each of these in the upcoming sessions. Okay, so again, that is a brief overview. I hope I did not confuse you much further, but basically you inject malicious data into servers and try to perform unwanted actions, deleting data from the server, getting admin access, getting credentials of other users. All those are unwanted actions in a web page from these attacks. Okay. Any questions or doubts up to this point? Akash, Amit, Muktesh, Ahmed, Sandeep.
Do we need to install any other OS like Kali or other
Yes.
Linux to perform
Yes,
this?
we will have to, Akash. So again, I'll talk about that in a bit. But yes, there will be a
Okay.
class separately for lab setup installation, in which
Mhm.
I'll be showing you how to practically install all the tools required for the entire course. Okay. So yes, we
Okay.
will
Thank you.
require a separate operating system called Kali. But don't worry, I'm going to explain Kali as well from the basics. We have a class called Linux commands, where I explain what Linux operating systems are, what the architecture is, and what are some commands to know in Linux before you get started. Okay. Yeah, that will be included in the course itself. Okay.
And suppose I am performing any one of these operations and I got issue, then where we can connect or how to resolve that if I am not able to resolve it by
I'll be
my own.
giving you my personal contact number, Akash. So you'll be
Okay.
getting my number once you register for the course. I'll be dropping my personal number as well. Although for now, I can drop you my personal email. So let me drop it in the chat box. cybersecwisaac@gmail.com. That's my personal email, guys. So if you have any queries or so, you can drop a mail on that. Okay. So I usually respond back in a couple hours. Okay. But yeah, that's my mail. And once you register for the course, you'll be getting my WhatsApp number as well. So if you have any queries, you can contact me on my number also. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Coming back to this, again, as mentioned, after the web application attacks, we talk about firewall attacks. So every organization has firewalls and some security measures. How do you check for misconfigurations on those devices? How do you attack them if they have loopholes? Then comes vulnerability assessment, where in this module, we work on a tool called Metasploit Framework, a very important tool in cybersecurity, which allows you to perform attacks on other systems with vulnerabilities on it. Okay. So again, we'll practically work on this tool. It is requested as one of the requirements in a lot of job descriptions today. So we'll be working on this tool as well. Okay. Then finally comes hacking mobile phones, where we learn how to attack any Android phone. So if you carefully observe here, we practically attack every endpoint. We talk about system hacking, we talk about network hacking, we talk about wireless hacking, wireless device Wi-Fi hacking. We talk about web server hacking, web application hacking, firewall hacking, and mobile phone hacking. So as small as a mobile phone to as big as a database or a server, we learn how to perform penetration testing or how to check for security on each of those devices. Okay. So again, I have not included all the concepts. There's a lot more concepts available. We'll be learning on them, but these are some of the most important ones that we'll be covering for sure. Okay. Moving on, after this is done, then we have two small modules left out, which are basically maintaining access and reporting or clearing traces. Maintaining access is where once I've gotten access to your device, I need to maintain a persistent connection, which means, let's say, if I hack your phone, I have to maintain the connection to your phone at all costs. Even if you restart your phone, I should automatically connect back to you. So that is called as maintaining access, keeping or retaining ownership of the devices to perform other attacks. After that is also achieved, then finally, as an ethical hacker, you report the vulnerabilities. So ethical hackers generate a report for the organization, elaborating all the loopholes and the techniques they followed to find those loopholes and provide solutions as well to remove them. On the other hand, if you're a black hat hacker, you won't report anything. You try to stay anonymous. So you remove all the evidences, you delete all the log files on the system, and erase your evidence of actions, thereby trying to stay anonymous, trying to not get caught. So our course is going to run simultaneously in two tracks. One, how do you perform attacks as a hacker? Two, how do you prevent these attacks in real time as an ethical hacker? Okay. So in order to understand how to secure an organization, you need to know first how to attack an organization. Only once you know how to rob something as a robber or as a thief, only then you'll be a successful police, understanding their mindset and finding out the loopholes and methods to catch those people. Okay. Our course is going to practically work on these 5C modules, guys. Entire course will be worked on these 5 modules itself. And as mentioned, before we get into these 5 modules, there's a few prerequisites. Firstly, we talk about what networking is. So if I open up notes here, in the upcoming sessions from tomorrow at 7 p.m., the new batch starts, guys. Every day we have a class for 1 hour. Okay. And from Monday to Friday, we have classes. So tomorrow we start from networking fundamentals. What is networking? What are IP addresses? What is a DNS server? What is a DHCP server? What are the categories of IP addresses? What's the first IP? What's the last IP? What are public IPs? What are private IPs? We'll talk about all these basics first. Okay. After this is covered, we learn lab setup installation, where we'll be learning how to install a practical operating system called Kali Linux, built specifically for cybersecurity. So this is an operating system which contains all the tools required for cybersecurity. They are pre-installed in it. Completely open source, completely free for anyone to download. And we'll practically learn how to install this OS with the tools in it. And then we also learn Linux commands as well. So as mentioned, we have a class separately for Linux. Okay. What is Kali Linux? How is it different from other operating systems? What is the architecture of Linux? Okay. What are the folders in Linux? Okay. What are the commands in Linux? We talk about each of these important commands practically. After these are done, then we get into the advanced concepts, guys. Information gathering, scanning, etc., etc. Okay. So yeah, this is a brief overview on what the course is about and what we'll practically be working on, how the classes are going to be. I'm going to be the trainer for you in the upcoming 35 days of the course as well. And yeah, you'll be getting the recordings for each session. You'll be getting the PDF documents for each session, the documentation which I've shown you right now. And yeah, if you have any queries, you'll be getting my personal number as well. Anything that I'm missing out, yeah, please note the class starts from tomorrow at 7 p.m. onwards. This is the first session tomorrow at 7 p.m. Okay, we have classes from Monday to Friday every day for 1 hour each. Okay, so yeah, any questions? If you have any questions, you can let me know. We can clarify those. If not, we can exit the demo. This concludes the demo, guys.
Sir, last one question.
Sure.
Like everyone is talking about AI, and I think AI is also hackers are also using AI for the penetration and hacking. But when we used to enter something related to how to hack or how to hack Wi-Fi, or it doesn't means ChatGPT doesn't share that proper information or all. So how they are using AI in hacking?
Again, what you can ask in a much better way, Akash, is rather than asking how to hack, you can specify the tool need there. So what you
Okay,
can,
how
what
this
you
tool work
utilize
and all.
AI for, yeah, is you have to again be very specific with it with proper instructions. So rather than you telling how to hack Wi-Fi, you can ask what is the syntax of aircrack NG? That's the tool for hacking Wi-Fi. So what is the correct
Right.
syntax for it? Okay, in Kali operating system, and that will list you out all the steps one by one and show you what is it used for. So in that way, how it has made easier for today for hackers is you don't have to remember the steps now. You can ask the AI and that will tell you the steps. Earlier, again, in
Oh,
my olden days, and 5 years ago, I had to remember every single syntax, I have to remember every
correct.
single command to perform hacking. Today, if I forget something, thanks to AI, I get the syntax on the internet. Okay. Rather than me going through multiple pages, multiple websites, I enter the prompt in an AI and I get the syntax or exact correct syntax in one single application itself. Okay. So
Okay.
rather than giving general prompts like how to hack a certain device,
Mm-hmm.
you need to know at least what tool is utilized there, or you can ask that
Right,
also.
right.
What are the best tools available today? And on that specific
Mm.
tool, you ask for the instructions. What is the syntax in the terminal to run this tool in Kali? That will be of great assistance today. Okay. So that's how
Thank
it's
you so much, sir.
properly utilized today, I could say. Again, things are being a lot, again, things are being made easy, I would say, with AI. But again, I would always prefer, if possible, try to remember these commands. Okay, because just in case if you don't have access to that AI, then what would you do? You would get stuck. So to some extent, I would try to manually remember them. If not, then you can utilize AI as a help. Just I don't believe in making things very easy. That is problematic as well. Okay. But yeah, it will be of great assistance. Again, AI is of lot of great assistance today. I can agree on that. Yeah, guys, any other questions?
Sir, we will
Thank you,
get
sir.
a recording of the class because at the time 7 p.m. is not feasible for me right now. So that's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, yeah. Every single class is recorded, guys, and they'll be shared directly to you on your Google Drive itself. So on your Google Drive in the shared with me folder, you'll see a folder from DurgaSoft cybersecurity classes. So every class is uploaded and shared directly to you on your Google Drive, okay, which will be accessible to you for the next complete 1 year. Okay. After the 1 year, again, our course might change. So again, that might not be, again, all the topics might not be relevant. So more than one year is more than sufficient to learn all these things through going through the recordings again and again, right? So I would say no matter, even if you're unable to attend the live session, you'll be getting the recordings on time in your Google Drive directly to
Okay, sir.
you. Okay. And but please note, the recordings will only be accessible for 1 year. After that 1 year, okay, they will not be available anymore.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Muktesh, Ahmed, Sanjeev, Akash?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry.
That's
Sorry.
okay, Sanjeev. Don't get confused.
The question is regarding can we get a job as a fresher?
Can we get what?
A fresher job in cybersecurity.
That's the main objective of the course, right, Sanjeev? To give you a
Hmm.
practical answer for this, I would recommend you visit this website called jobs.null.co.in. What's the usage of doing a course if you're not earning back from it? So again, once this course is done, this is a website specifically built by cybersecurity professionals, guys. Okay. So Null
Okay.
community is a very well-known, well-recognized community all around the world. And in India,
Hmm.
they've built this
Hmm.
website called jobs.co.null.in. So these are all the domains of cybersecurity, guys, or subdomains in cybersecurity. And after this course is done, you can apply in
Hmm.
three departments. One, you can apply in VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Two, you can apply here in freshers, or three, you can apply in SOC as well. Okay. So if you click on freshers itself, you can see every week this list gets updated, guys, again. So these are all the jobs you can apply for. Cybersecurity researcher, cybersecurity, IoT pen tester, security consultant, SOC analyst level 1 or level 2, junior security analyst, okay, malware analyst, ethical hacker, okay, or you get internships as well, as you can see. Researcher, intern, cybersecurity content writer, infosec intern, information security intern. So there are internships, there are jobs for freshers as well. And this list keeps getting updated, guys, from time to time. So you can regularly keep checking this list.
And sir, one more thing. Suppose I'm working as a developer. So can I do that if my company allows like not doing moonlighting, but for freelancing project, do we have that kind of freelancing projects for
Yeah,
cybersecurity also?
definitely. You can find freelancing jobs as well as SOC analyst or penetration testers, Akash. Frankly
Okay.
speaking, you don't, again, there's a website called Bugcrowd. There's others as well. These are bug bounty websites where you can
Right,
choose
right.
any domain of your choice. Okay. This is specifically for web application pen testing, though. So here, companies host their websites and they ask penetration testers to find loopholes. Okay. So
Okay.
after this course is done, if you have some focus on web application pen testing, you can perform bug bounty online, getting vulnerabilities in these websites in your free time by checking for
Okay.
vulnerabilities and reporting them. Okay. But again,
Okay.
definitely there's a lot of competition, but this is one other alternative source, okay, of income
Okay.
as freelancing. Okay. It won't be considered as moonlighting. This is something that you're doing in your private time.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
What is salary package for freshers?
What is what?
Salary package for freshers.
You can expect around 6 to 8 lakhs or so, Sanjeev. Depends on your skill set and depends on company as well. So I can't generalize. The other day, one
Mm.
of the students got placed in Pune in some company. He got
Mm.
around 9 lakhs or so. He's a fresher. He just passed out of engineering. So again,
Okay.
depends from company to company and the city you live in and etc. etc. So there's a lot of
Mm.
factors. But again, on an average, I would say 6 to 10, and it varies.
Mm. Okay.
With 1 year of
Company,
experience, that
sorry, sir.
exponentially grows again. So after 1 year, you can shift your company, or again, you can apply for
Mm.
other higher job roles in the same company itself, and that goes up to
Mm.
10 to 15 or so. So there's exponential growth in this domain because again, there's a requirement of a lot of jobs, but there's deficit of skilled people. So if you just go to your browser and search also cyber security jobs uh, requirement, you can see, all lot of websites, all they mention is there's millions and millions of jobs in demand. Okay. So, but again, as mentioned, there's a lack of skilled people. The reason is people are not, it's just they're learning theory courses and they're just applying for fake experiences and fake certificates and all. But there's no one skilled in this domain because this is something which has recently started. Since your COVID onwards, there's increase in transactions online. There's increase in traffic online. Okay. So this is a fresh budding domain, I would say. Okay. But since it's a fresh and budding domain, many people are applying into it, but they are applying it without skill, without knowledge. So again, as mentioned, there's a deficit of skilled people in cybersecurity. So if you're skilled and again, if you know all the concepts practically, how to run these tools efficiently in an organization, getting a job is not that tough at all in this domain. Okay, there's lots of jobs. The issue is skill again, learning, understanding how to perform these attacks in real time and how to defend them in real time. That is important to know. Okay.
What are the duration of this course?
35 days, guys. And again, as mentioned, if you're not available for those classes at 7 p.m., you will be getting the recording on your email. And yeah,
Okay.
in case the sessions are only in the evening right now. We did plan a morning batch, but not many students showed up. So that's why we shifted it right now to evening. So for now, there's only an evening batch, but maybe next month we can start a morning batch as well again. We'll see. But for now, the available batch or time slot is 7 p.m. in the evening, guys.
Okay. What are the fees?
Yeah, coming back to that. So the course is priced at 8,000 rupees Indian currency, guys. So again, trust me, that is one of the cheapest prices the course is available for the content that you're getting. Secondly, I teach for multiple institutes, some in Bangalore and some in Mumbai as well. And I am the same trainer there as well. And trust me, for the same course, those institutes are charging 23 or 25,000. Okay, what you're getting here in Hyderabad for 8,000. So they've reduced the price due to the competition because multiple institutes are offering this. Okay. But in my experience, this is one of the places which is offering it for the cheapest price with the same content everywhere. Okay. Yeah, as mentioned, that you can discuss much further details regarding the payment with the institute itself. Okay, you can ask them again whatever the details you require regarding the payment. But as mentioned, this is one of the prices that I see right now. Again, just yeah, if you have any personal questions or so, you can just contact me. Let me share my number now itself, guys. So if you have any queries as such, you can directly contact on this number. But again, I might not be able to lift calls during the daytime. I mean, in the mornings or in the evenings. Afternoons is fine because I have classes in the mornings and evenings, guys. If you have any personal queries, you can drop a message on that number.
Last question only. So, is there any job support after doing this course?
Yeah, I
So,
provide that privately, Sanjeev. So if you have any queries regarding that, you can contact me. I do provide job support. Again, job support in the sense as mentioned, not from the DurgaSoft is not a consultancy, Sanjeev, to be frank. They will not place you anywhere. You have to look for jobs yourself. I'm being very frank and upfront with you. So again, as mentioned, with your own attempts itself, you getting a job is not tough. What I referred to was if you land a job and if you don't understand something, I provide that job support. Okay. So I do that for a lot of students right now. So that's what I intended to say. Okay. Exactly. Any other questions or doubts?
No, sir. Thank you.
No, sir. Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Apologies, guys, for the trouble with SEC today. But I hope you have understood everything I've spoken, and yeah, hopefully I get better tomorrow and I don't keep sneezing like this in the class. And yeah, thanks for joining the session today. Thanks for putting up with me today with my sickness. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a good day. See you soon.
Bye. Same to you.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Bye.